Sporting touch of hands. Round number one. There's that fast start. And that is the fastest knockout in bare knuckle fighting championship.
K-Mama, no born in the Bronx, raised in Dade. Been in the city since Pit had braids. Bahapanti parties, plata know how to sneak me out. Now it's 7-figure meetings, every day we lead a house. It's game time, the game's mine, you know the vibe. Yo viajado el mundo entero, reppin' 305.
Welcome to another episode of Don't Blink Podcast. You know I got the kid in the building.
Yes,
What's
you
up,
already
baby?
know what it is.
Today we got Brittany Brave in the building.
My God,
BB.
yes.
She's a comedian, actress, a host, a writer, and we're gonna get into her badass story in just a minute. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. I seen her one time at the Improv.
Oh really?
Killing it.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I was like,
you.
damn. I was like, yo, she really killed it. So
Thank
I
you.
loved it.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you very much. Was it it was only in Dade?
The Only in Day one. Yeah.
Not the one we went to. Was it? I went to one only a day, but I don't
No,
think
that
I
was
there.
you went to one with Laz.
Yeah.
We did the one with Carlos
that's
and all
right,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
That was probably like the biggest comedy show I've ever performed on
Yeah,
to date because
that's
the Improv
awesome.
was super sold out
Yeah,
that
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Like every person in Miami was there. Basically, it was amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah, it
she
was
killed
great.
it.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, yo,
dope.
Mike,
That's
yo,
dope.
she killed it.
Yo,
Thank
you
you.
know that's like one of my it's on my bucket list. That's my girl. Like I was like I want to get on. I know it's not easy, you know what I mean. So I'm not trying to make it seem like it is, but I want to write a little 5
Yeah?
minutes and try to get out there. You know, and I'm sure you write 5 minutes, and then when you do it, it's like 2 minutes. You're like, damn, I need 3 more minutes.
Oh yeah, all the time. And the 5 minutes you start with, like 6 months later, you're like, this is shit. I'm never doing this ever again.
You know, and then you know, like once you're like 6 months into a joke, you're like, it's not funny to you no more because you've like said it so many times,
Yeah.
but people are still loving it. You know?
Oh yeah, like the breakup material. Like it's so classic. Everyone starts stand up after like a breakup, and they have like 5-10 minutes about their ex and all this shit. And then it's like once you get over that motherfucker, you're like, oh, this stuff's not funny anymore.
In 4 minutes of the 5 minute joke, you're shitting on them. You know what I mean? Until you get to that punchline.
Yo, B, so going into writing content, right, and creating your jokes. Now that we're talking about that, right? Like, what goes into that? Like, what is it? What's your process?
Mental illness.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you said that.
Hell
I get a lot of depression.
Yeah. I mean, I fight for a living. I gotta be sick in my head for this. You know what I mean?
You have to. I was just saying the other day, I'm like, because I have a history of like super toxic relationships, and I'm like, man, my most abusive toxic relationship is stand up in the sense that like it's the most important thing to me, but it's also ruining my life, which is why I love it.
Right.
It's gonna end. I'm gonna go to jail because of it. Anyways, writing is weird. It's every comic writes differently. I feel like, and it's a mix of like physically writing and writing your jokes. I know comics that are like, I wake up every day, I write for 2 hours, pen to paper. Then there's the other element of writing, which is like finding it on stage, finding it with your friends.
Right.
So usually for me, I try to write every day, but I don't force it. It's like if it's important to me and it strikes a nerve, then I know I should be sitting down and writing about it.
Let me ask you, like, if you're hanging out with your homegirls and like something funny comes up, would you like put in your notes in your phone?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Make it real awkward.
Yeah.
And they're all like, they're like, you're writing it down. You're tweeting it right now, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah.
Because I'm I'm more like, I've never really sat down to write jokes, but I'm more witty than anything else. Like if you say something, it'll trigger something. I'll say something funny back. But I think to myself, like, damn, to sit down, I'll have to have people talking to me to make my jokes, you know what I mean, come to life.
Yeah, well, that's why you guys have such an awesome podcast, though, too, because like there is like conversationally funny too, which is such a gift and a thing too, and then stand up is just a beast. It's such a weird thing.
Right. No, I definitely respect that. Man.
And you got a podcast too, right?
I do. I had a podcast. I had a podcast for a little while about domestic violence.
Right, I saw that on here. I wanted to get to that actually. But.
Yeah. It was called Violently Funny. We did 2 seasons of it. It was great. It was me and another comic, Onika McLean. It was like abuse, but make it funny. No, like.
Were you a victim of that? Was that what came from? Okay.
Yeah.
That's where toxic and the relationship come together, right there.
Oh, I love a man who's covered in red flags. Let me tell you.
That's why she's in here with a red shirt right now. She's waving her flag right now.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like if he looks like he's gonna kill me, sign me up.
If you don't come with a jail number, I don't want him.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not. My ex was like, I'm in a custody battle. I've been through 2 divorces. I was like, are you going to propose? Like, I'm in.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You wouldn't expect that because I look like a cheerleader, but it's like, hey, it's dark inside, you know?
Gotcha.
I had that podcast for a little while, and that was great. Super proud of it. We were able to make it funny and have these really powerful, vulnerable stories from survivors and psychologists and everything. And then I do have a podcast through my women's organization, Cat Call, where I interview badass.
That's a funny name for a women's thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Take it, flip it on its head. Yeah. What that mouth do?
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Literally got catcalled like that in Miami one time.
Oh, for sure. That's basic here.
Yeah, in Kendall.
Like, dude, grow up.
Yeah. He's like, take that mask off. Let me see that tongue. I was like, we're in a pandemic, sir.
Not right now, all right?
Yeah, you got something worse than COVID over there. You know what I mean?
Right, herpes for sure. No, whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then that's Bad Women. That's what it's called. And I just interview dope women breaking the rules, basically. Women who have I interview a lot of women who got fired for going out on their own or did something against the grain or just cool women in my circles.
Yeah, we call them aliens here. We call them aliens.
Yeah,
you know we go outside the box.
Extraterrestrial females.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So we were talking before the show started. I thought you were from New York. You told me you're from Miami. So give us a little bit of your background of like born and raised and how we got to like comedy. You know,
a whole whirlwind.
I want to hear about all of it, abuse and all. You know, I want to hear it.
Let's get deep. Let's go.
No, you know what I say? I don't say that jokingly. I say that for a reason because we got a lot of people. And we you know what? We thank God we inspire people. You know what I mean through our stories. You know what I mean. So we are talking about our dark sides. People are like, oh shit, I'm not going through this alone. You know what I mean. So
100%.
that's what helps with like your comedy. You know what I mean. How you could laugh at the bad shit.
Of course, yeah. I think that's why all of us are driven to these creative fields. Like that's what makes you different than non-artists and non-creatives. Is that willingness and that ability to get on a mic, get on a podcast and share it, you know? Yeah, totally. So my life story.
Yes.
From New York and Miami, both super Italian. So my whole family's from
But born where?
Jersey, actually.
Born Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not sexy. So let's just say New York.
Jersey Shore.
Every single time. Like, my cousins are Guidos. You know what I mean?
Yo, rep that. You got to rep that.
Hey, is your like 8th grade picture with your hair all poofed up and stuff?
Oh, you fucking know it. Are you kidding me?
Damn.
Are you kidding me? Like when
with a heavy eyeliner.
The hoop earrings, the whole thing.
That's how you look like Snooki.
100%. All the kids were bringing PB&Js to school. I was bringing like
salami
chicken
sandwiches.
parm.
That's awesome.
I was like, you guys hungry? You know. So super Italian. My whole family's from Jersey, New York, a little bit of both. Yeah. So born there, but then my mom and my dad moved down to Miami 30 years ago. Okay. So I was raised in Kendall, went to school, Felix Varela, Howard Doolin, like local. Okay. And then I lived in New York for 6-7 years, did that whole thing, and then thanks to COVID, I'm now back in Miami. Right. But I go to New York a lot. I have 2 lovers, New York and Miami.
Awesome.
Right now.
Oh yeah. Awesome. And you were just there recently, right?
I was for about a month. Yeah.
How'd that go? How was that?
It was awesome. It was awesome. I feel so torn. Like I now know what it's like to like be in a happy, healthy marriage, but be like, but I'm in love with someone else. Like truly, like I go to New York and I'm like crying the second I hit the city, and it's amazing. A homeless guy's peeing on me. It's like, dude,
you're so lucky.
No, I'm like, I'm back. He likes me, you know. And I'm like, I gotta move back. I fuck Miami. I have to. But then like. It takes like 3 weeks, and I'm like, no, I want to go back to the beach, and I miss like the bars in Brickell and
parking,
I miss,
like, you know,
parking. Well, I don't drive. I say, you know. Uber. Yeah. So I do both pretty. It's always good. It always tugs at my heartstrings when I go back to New York.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. There's times when it's fun to be there, and there's a lot more times it's fun to be here though. You know?
Yeah.
I like visiting. I always go, visit my grandma, visit my family over there.
That's the key. Visiting.
Few days, boom, boom, bam, bam. Take it in. Smell the aroma in the lobby. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I like that you just did an incredible impression of a New Yorker. You were like, I go to the city, boom, boom, bam, bam.
Because I was born in the Bronx.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and raised in Dade.
There we go.
I've been in the city since Pitt had braids.
That's it.
There we go.
That's
me. Don't get them started. That's the whole first round. Hey, so I know New York is known for their comedy scene. Super tough though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sell your own tickets type of thing, and
it's tough. It's tough in a lot of. It's oversaturated. Mm-hmm. Everyone's a comedian. Right. Like your landlord's a comedian.
Right.
Everybody you go on a date with is like, stand up.
When you get something funny, pay your rent.
Right. Yeah. Everyone is an actor or a comedian in New York. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to kind of stand out. Right. And It is, as much as I love New York, like, it's such a pretentious city. Like, the crowds are tough. It's so hard to get them to care. Miami's a little bit like that, too, though. You know, we're such a flashy city that it's hard to get people
we're more bougie over there. They're more like, cutthroat.
Yes. Yeah. So it is tough. Like, you don't get any real passes there. Like, you're judged by how hard you're hustling. If you're not getting laughs, that's it. You're just not funny. What are you saying with your comedy? You know what I mean? And you can very quickly get replaced. Like, somebody takes a month off and, like, boom, those spots are gone.
For sure.
You know, so
there's no guarantees there for sure. On
So
that.
so saying that and preparing for your New York trip, when you went to New York, you had some gigs?
Yeah.
So how was it preparing the content, going into knowing what you know right now, what you just described? You was going into the jungle.
Yeah.
How did you create that? Because I seen some videos and you was doing it.
Thank you.
It happened.
Yeah, I burned myself out a little bit this last trip. I probably did upwards of like 40 shows.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Yeah. And I missed that because we don't have that in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can get up maybe maximum 2 to 3 times a night now, which is great. We didn't have that a year ago.
Yeah.
So I missed that. Nothing makes you grow that quickly as a comic than that ability to, like, get up.
Stage time.
6 times in one night. You could start the night not knowing where a joke's going to go. You end the night by being like, it's done. I have it figured out, you know? So I missed that. But it's so interesting because it's like New York is material, I feel. Like, and that's where I go to, like, hone it and tighten it up. But, like, Miami is kind of where I, like, cut my teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the crowds here are tough for a totally different reason. So I'm kind of I'm going in with, like, armor in New York, but then I come down to New York and Miami with, like, fresh ideas and material. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. But yeah.
Damn, hell yeah.
And let me ask you, give me the difference between the hecklers in New York and the hecklers in Miami. This should be a big, especially. I mean, and you're a tiny woman walking on stage to do a comedy show. You know, it must be.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot. You don't even know. I get underestimated a lot.
I bet.
Yeah, and I've always had I've always had a Napoleon complex, let's be honest, you know, like, that's always kind of who I am. But I have kind of embraced that, like, I need that persona a little bit when I start my sets. Like, you probably saw it at the Uly and Dade show. Yeah. Like, I had to kind of come out swinging, right? Because they do see you, and they're not expecting whatever it is.
You got to punch them in the mouth.
Exactly. Yo,
Uly, that's what it was, bro. She came, I'm like, wow, what the? and everybody was like, what? Yeah. And then all the girls,
awesome.
second joke, all the girls are already, wow.
That's awesome. That's
taking
awesome.
it.
It was great. That was a good show. Yeah. But yeah, you get under, you know, down here, I remember when I first came down here, you know, somebody was like, I showed up. I didn't really know too many comics in the scene. I was just visiting, and it was like, "Oh, are you on the show tonight? Or are you someone's girlfriend? Are you here to see your boyfriend?" It's stuff like that, you know. And it happens in New York too.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, or even just a couple nights ago, somebody said to me like, "Damn, like, you know, you killed it." I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting that out IG.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like,
well, is that a compliment or are you dissing me? I don't get it.
it's like a backhanded.
You haven't seen my last post on IG? I'm killing it out here.
Shut
you know
up,
what I'm saying? Right? Google me right quick.
Right. I was like, I'll fight you outside. No, yeah, it's a lot. So hecklers are they're a special breed, and from what I've noticed is that in Miami, heckling is kind of the norm across the board.
Right.
They don't even realize it's heckling.
Right.
You know, like, I think sometimes it comes from a genuinely good place. It's such a feel-good city. It's such a party city. People go out, they want to drink, they want to have a good time.
They think saying something stupid's going to help the situation.
Correct. And it's kind of fun. If it works in your favor, now they're a part of your set, and it can, you know what I mean?
That's how you flip it and reverse it.
Of course, yeah. You can never be meaner than them. You always got to, like, make them feel included. In New York, you will get heckled where they will straight up be like, "That's stupid."
Right.
Yeah, or they'll be like, "Not funny." Yeah. Or it's a liberal political place, so they'll be like, "That's not how that is. I disagree," or something. You're like, "Bitch, this isn't a town hall meeting."
Right.
You know, so I will say in Miami, it's like it can be frustrating, but I do see that it comes 9 times out of 10 from. They just they get excited and they don't realize they're like girls will be like, "Yes, queen, I love you, yes," and I'm like, "Yeah, shut up, you know? Shut up," you know. So
I could see just by talking to you for the first time too, but you have that wittiness in you, so I can see you've probably been like funny without realizing it your whole life. But when did you think, okay, comedy's gonna be, you know, an avenue for me? When did that come into play?
Yeah, it's been a factor of my life this entire time. Right. You know, my whole family is hysterical. I did theater growing up. I did all that kind of stuff. I always kind of knew I was going to be a comedian. Did it all throughout high school, did it all throughout college. And then...
Okay, so you started young.
Okay, yeah, acting, dancing, all that kind of stuff. Cool. Then I did make the mistake... There's no such thing as mistakes, of taking the safe route and doing the corporate PR job. And
you got to find out you don't like that. You know what I mean? That's it's a great thing you did that.
Yeah, process of elimination.
Right.
Yeah, and I actually worked in the music business, which was super fun and gave me tools for now. But I was trying to do comedy at the same time. And, you know, kind of hating that and then being in that relationship and then a bunch of other factors. And, you know, your mid-20s, you're like, who am I? What's going on? You know?
Is this life?
Is this life? Are we human or are we dancer? And then I just realized, thank God I had this awakening because of all those things that I hated in my life. Yeah. And I knew the only thing I could run to and the thing that was always there was comedy. And it was just kind of like, how are you not? Like, how is this not what you're doing? So, I want to say almost 3 years ago was when I was like, that's it. And quit everything, threw everything away and started doing it.
That's awesome. More power to you. That's
Thank you.
I started letting it rip.
If you ever see my story, I had the same awakening one day, you know what I mean? And I just turned my life around and I am where I'm at today because of that. And it's scary to take that first step of like having a corporate job, having a check for sure and be like, oh, you know what? Fuck this, man. I'm going to try it on my own. And then, you know, you got to go broke. You got to lose friends. You got to like question yourself a minute. And then you break through all that and you're like, yo, thank God, you know.
That was the best decision I ever made in my life. And it's not wreckage unless you view it that way. Right. You know what I mean? Like I look back at all the things that I lost and it's like, but every decision you make in life is 50% sacrifice, right? If you're choosing one thing, you're not choosing another. So it all kind of comes with the territory. And to your point about like the check, like I remember in my first year or so, I was like stressing about money, still wouldn't fully let like traditional jobs.
Yeah, you still have one foot in and one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah. And I spoke to an older comic in New York and they were like, you got to let it go. You gotta be broke for a little while. Right. You gotta just let the safety net go because something in the chemistry of your brain is gonna change. Right. When you're like, no, my job is comedian. I need to be money funny now. Right. Let's go. And it sucked and there were scary moments. Dipped into that 401k, dipped into those savings a lot. And but you know, he was right. Like it was like something just flipped. And it wouldn't be going so well now had I still been scared. You know, and be like, no, I'm going to keep my 9 to 5 because you never know. And so. No,
and now you're doing something you love, so it feels like you're not really working, right? You're doing something you love. Yeah. And I've, I heard from a very smart friend of mine, the more you chase money, the more money runs away. So once you start finding something you love, you forget about, obviously we all need money to live, so you know what you need, but if you just let go and keep doing what you do, you'll be successful.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you know what's interesting? I did a hot yoga class for the first time.
I love that. Bikram yoga. I love hot yoga.
It's amazing. Yeah. I didn't know. I signed up for it not knowing
it's like torture, but you come out like on top. It's
like good torture.
Well, at the moment you hate it, but once you get out, you're like, yes,
amazing. Like a new person. I was like, I sweat out every sin in gin and tonic I've ever had in my life. Amazing. And they were like, I didn't know that's what I signed up for, but I was like, you know what? Let me do it. And I remember during the class, there's something about sweating your balls off. And being in downward dog. And then the instructor's like, if you force anything in life, remember it won't happen. And I was like, oh, shit. But I also had like my ass up in the air and I was like, I've been told this before, but like in a different Ooh, namaste.
Namaste, motherfucker.
Namaste.
Hey, so I see the tattoo right there. Looks like is that a rabbit's foot or is that like a lucky?
I just got it.
Is it? Oh, did you? Okay. Well, what is the meaning behind that?
It is the rabbit's foot. So, super Italian. So I got the Maluk, the Malocchio, which is like the fucking got my eyes on you.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like the Italian evil eye. And then, the rabbit's foot for like love, prosperity, and good luck. I was just in Chicago and I was feeling for a new tat.
I like that. It caught my attention because I know you got something to do with like an improvised tarot card type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? Is that like is that part of your like comedy? I don't know if can you talk about that?
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, it's actually perfect timing to talk about it too.
It's like a magician revealing their trick. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Damn, I should have brought my tarot cards.
That would have been great. I don't know because then you don't give me that weird card.
Have you had a tarot reading?
I never have. I
Okay.
I don't want to know what my future is. Like, I don't know, in a weird sense. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's what that is. I'm a little confused with it.
It kind of like, it doesn't tell you I don't know. It's kind of.
Let her explain.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
What's up, baby?
I was about to explain something I have no idea about. So,
You're like, I wouldn't know what tarot reader told me. I don't know. It is a little bit intuitive practicing. It is a little bit like it can give you clarity into the future. I will say, like 9 times out of 10, if you go to a psychic, because trust me, I've been to many for both of us in New York that took my money, and they were like, I see in the future your brother having a baby. And I'm like, I'm an only child. And they're like, a proverbial brother. And I'm like, bitch, give me my $50 back. Like, no. I'm super big on, now I'm going to make myself like the most typical white girl ever, but like I love like energy.
Okay.
So do we.
So do we. Yeah, we big on that.
I feel like I get made.
Am I a white girl right now?
He has a pumpkin spice under his chair. Nobody tell.
Hey, it's pumpkin season, guys. All right.
Yeah, it's fall, right? Yeah. I just feel like I get made fun of all the time from people about like, of course you're into astrology, of course you're into tarot, and I'm like,
I'm into astrology too. Stop it, bro. You're like, are you reading my card right now?
What sign are you? Are you a fire sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, we love it. A good fish.
Stop it! I'll cry right now.
He's like, don't get me started. I'm already crying. That explains the pumpkin spice. Yeah.
I'm in touch with my sides.
Yeah. You Pisces men, you're controlling a little bit.
Are we?
A little bit.
Why don't you just shut up?
Yeah, right. Why don't you get the fuck out? So what's your counterpart? What sign are you?
He's a Gemini.
I'm a Gemini.
He's a two-faced yin yang right here.
Don't trust you.
Exactly.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think,
you won't make
he's
it out.
the only Gemini in life I ever get along with, bro.
Oh, damn.
Let's not
Appreciate
jinx that.
Hell yeah.
All seriousness, Gemini Pisces, I see often great creative collaboration and creative energy between the two.
Damn.
So
That's
for
what
real.
I'm talking about.
I'm just saying it.
Bang, boom, bang.
Bada boom, bada
Bada boom,
bang.
bada bang.
You're already on the show. You don't got to kiss her ass.
We already like you.
Oh my god. Okay. This is a Gemini Pisces duo if I've ever seen it. Okay. Yeah, so tarot it's intuitive. I'm super big on using your gut to make decisions.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the gut takes the best elements of the head and the heart and everything else, you know. So it's really like a self-reflective practice. Like if you get good at pulling your own cards, it's kind of like you direct the energy of the deck, and what you pull and what it means to you is really, at the end of the day, all that really matters, kind of thing, you know? So, yeah, I created this show called Improvised Tarot. We're actually about to bring it to Villain Theater in Little Haiti.
Oh, shit, dope. Okay.
Yeah, and I think in like end of October, November, we're going to do it. And it's just super fun. It's comedians.
That's a perfect place to do like tarot's Little Haiti, because, you know, it's real, like, you know, spiritual.
Yeah, and like Villain's a perfect spot for it too, because they do improv, stand-up, all that. And it's so fun. It's comedians just bullshit the readings for people, and then I actually like hire a psychic that comes in and like gives them a reading at the end of it. So it's super fun.
Damn.
Oh shit.
That's interesting.
But I pull tarot cards like on the daily. Like it's
So how long have you been doing that?
A couple years.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got into astrology a couple years ago, and then I started reading about it, and then I had a couple tarot readings that were like freaky accurate, and not like predicted things, but like were like really accurate reflections of what was happening. Right. And then I just started like reading up on the stuff myself.
And was that like during that like down times and things like that, or
no,
it was just like
years and years ago? I should have predicted COVID was going to happen. That's my bad.
Where were you?
I did pull a card one night and I saw Dr. Fauci on it, and I was like, hey, what's he doing in here? But yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm super into it now. Like, I mean, I think for me, that's my avenue of spirituality is either through comedy or through that. So I don't knock it till you try it. That's all
that's
I'm saying.
awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And what you got coming up now?
Oh man, I a bunch of stuff. I am. What's first? I have a show on the beach.
Okay.
It's called Laughs on Lincoln.
When is that? When was that?
Let them people know right there on that camera. Laughs on
Laughs
Lincoln.
on
What
Lincoln.
day we there?
Wednesday, September 22nd, 8 p.m. show. It's free.
Okay.
Oh.
Free. What? It's at
I love free 99.
Free 99. As in free.
Yeah.
$0, bitch. And it's at the Lincoln Eatery, which is going to be cool because it's like tons of restaurants and bars. We're going to have a DJ. It's basically now going to be like a rotating show on the beach. And I've been running it since March, and it's all headliners do it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. We'll definitely push it here on Don't Blink on my social media.
hell yeah,
We
for
push
sure.
it.
Thank you.
We bring out a crowd. I don't know if you've ever been to one of our events. We bring like hundreds of people. Thank you guys. We love you.
And we
yeah.
have a seat for all of you at Laps
Awesome.
on Lincoln on
Hell
Wednesday
yeah.
night.
Awesome. And let me ask you. So you did 2 seasons of Cat Call. You
Yeah.
said it went well. Why haven't you? Are you going to go back to it? You guys saw?
Yeah. So funny you bring that up. So Cat Call is actually, it's done a lot of things. It's been like a podcast.
Or I'm sorry. Which one was it? Violently Funny, the one you had 2 seasons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We Onika's amazing. We both just got super busy,
Right,
and
okay.
like we actually all the episodes are still available if people want to listen to them because we always want to make sure if people are in that situation they have those resources.
Where that?
there.
Where that? Let them know. Let them know. Where that?
Violently Funny, Spotify, Apple, Anchor. Everywhere. Yeah, it's
Boom.
a really
every
good
digital platform.
Yeah, it's a really good podcast for relationships, for feminism, for empowerment, for domestic violence, for relationship issues, all that kind of stuff. So that lives on and is its own thing. And then, Cat Call is the podcast, and we do events. We're a platform. We actually just raised, over the last couple of days, I raised $1,500 for abortion rights because of all the crazy shit that's going on in Texas.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that today. That's funny about like pro-choice and
Yeah.
I was hearing that I was today on a podcast that we're talking about it. You know, it's tough when the government's trying to tell you what to do when you're in that situation.
Yeah, and it's tough when you see the series of laws that are, if you really get down to it and you look, because the language is often really, really sketchy and like deceitful in these bills and in these laws. And then when you actually get to the root of all of these bills and things that are being passed, they're actively trying to keep women of color, and women in poor financial situations oppressed. Like there's no other way, to really say it. And like I'm a big advocate for it. Listen, I own my shit. Like I've had 2 myself. Like I don't regret either of them. No. They are why I'm here today. They are great choices that I made, and I'm glad I had the freedom to do that. Yeah. So I've been pretty emotional about some of the stuff going on in Texas. So I used Cat Call to like raise money through our merch and
put your voice out there for it.
Yeah. Okay. So all the money's going to the Center for Reproductive Rights, which are all the people that are literally on the grounds fighting Congress and fighting the government to make sure Roe versus Wade is still a thing. But if you do a little research into Texas, it's very unfair and it's super, super scary.
Yeah. You can. The gun laws are easy, but the baby, if you want to have a baby, they're making it tough on you.
It's tough, and it's like insane. They're like, "Don't make me wear a mask. My body, my choice." But then they're like, "But your body, my choice."
Right.
Yeah.
You hard, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I feel like it's like any other choice in life too, where it's like live your life and stay in your lane, and let other people live their lives and stay in theirs, and look how peaceful everything will be. Yeah.
And what's up with Rock Candy?
Oh, that's R.I.P. to that. I should take that off my website. R.I.P.
Let's give a moment of silence.
Let's give a moment of silence.
Okay, it's over.
That's in the past. We over it. All right.
How about are you still doing the Tiny Cupboard?
Yeah, I do. That I do have. That's my New York show. Tiny Cupboard, Bushwick, Brooklyn. Fridays at 8:30.
Bushwick, yo.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, Bushwick's on the up, man. That's the next neighborhood to pop in New York.
I heard they're gentrifying the hell out of it over there too.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like before, you like now you probably got like white girls walking Frenchies and shit on over there in Bushwick.
Dude, you had my show one night. We had a girl like heckle and get super angry. This is a perfect segue for what you were saying. This one comic went up, and he's kind of an old school comic, and he was like doing his material, which if you go by that old school comedy, it's like I'm trying to piss you off. I'm trying to push your buttons. Right. And I knew it, so I'm like kind of cringing in the back, but it's Bushwick, Brooklyn. Like where people are signing petitions left and right. So you on one hand have these like freaks who are cracking up at everything. Nice. And then you have this one white woman who's just getting so personally. She's like the captain of gentrification, basically. And she stands up and gets so mad at him that she throws her White Claw can.
No.
I was like, could you be more of a Karen? She was like, that's offensive. expensive, and like threw her empty White Claw can, and I was like, oh, Bushwick is changing.
Yeah. What the fuck? I used to be a 40 or a crack pipe.
Right. And we had like that vibe in the crowd, and those people were like falling out of their chairs, cracking up, there to have a good time. And then you had like Karen and her crew.
With the handlebar mustaches and the tattoos.
Yeah. So yeah, Bushwick is changing, but it's a great show. It's a fun show.
For sure. No, let me tell you, all the major cities are changing. Miami has totally changed. I lived in Wynwood 20 years ago. I used to walk out my front door and those prostitutes and pimps and everything.
And all that.
And right now you got white girls walking Frenchies and they're selling ice cream right here. And
they got a hot dog right there.
Bake shops and food trucks.
Oh, 100%. I feel since moving back about a year ago, like when really going out, starting in like the summer of last year when shit started opening up, like I was relearning Miami. Like even when I grew up here, like Wynwood wasn't a thing.
Right.
It wasn't even.
Hell no.
Little River wasn't a thing.
Right.
Little Haiti, stuff like that. So
I was first 48.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah. And also, like, the beach was where you thought, like, you were so cool if you went out on the beach.
Right. That's funny. We're talking about it today.
Yeah.
The beach was the shit. Now I'm like, you won't catch me on the beach for nothing unless I got business out there.
I know, or unless you have laughs on Lincoln.
Exactly. I'm about to go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Catching you on Lincoln.
But it was interesting because I still have a soft spot for the beach because it's still the beach. And it's
still one of the most beautiful beaches.
Yeah, but
and me and my girl go out there like, Joe Stonecrack. We'll get a little lobster roll.
Yeah.
But Lincoln, it's almost like, Lincoln is like Lincoln.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The beach, and over there, that's like almost like.
True. I come from I'm aging myself. I'm 40 years old. I come from the age in the 90s where the beach hangout was like you're in your car in traffic for 2 hours. And you see yo, what's up, dog? Or if not, you jump out, you fight on the sidewalk.
Fat Tuesdays, Fat Tuesdays. Wet Willies was fire.
And we started the cat call. All the girls back in the day.
What that mouth do?
Yeah. Before cell phones, this is your ringtone.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So where in Miami are you? I mean, what area? What area are you staying in now?
Yeah, I'm still in Kendall.
Still in the hammocks over there?
Oh, yeah.
Part of Crazy Hood.
Yeah. I was actually there yesterday. Urban Air on 157 and Kendall. Yeah.
Okay,
nice.
out there. Yeah. I'm usually whenever I tell people, I'm also like West Kendall, like West Kendall. Yeah, but me living in Miami has been so unexpected. Yeah. And obviously COVID and everything else. So. I don't know my long-term plan either. Like, maybe I'll go back to New York. Maybe I'll just kind of, whatever. But I live with my mom and my dad, who are super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush to get out.
Best roommates ever.
Best roommates ever.
Enjoy that.
Do I wish I had privacy? Sometimes, yes, but it's okay,
What's that buzzing in that room?
All the time. The guy's like, my place or your place? I'm like, so how do you feel about 64-year-olds? Like, you into that?
With their ear to the door.
I'm like, they're cool. We can drink, So that's my situation right now, and it's all right for right now. Yeah, it's kind of nice because it's away from any of the crazy parts of Miami. I go out, I do my shows, I have my fun, and then I'm like,
and
then you head back.
Then a 30-minute drive back home.
That's the only thing. Yeah, like if I ever had an emergency, they're like, you got to get here now. I'm like, you got to wait an hour. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you. We like to give our guests a positive message. I know you went. You had this violently funny podcast because you went through a situation in yourself in your life. What would you be able to tell like young women out there maybe going through what you went through?
Yeah. So many things come to mind.
Yeah.
Say it all.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Just make sure you kill him first.
For sure.
I'll help you hide
Leave
the
a note
body.
behind.
I have ways, bitch. No. You're always greater than your circumstances is what I would say. And I think this goes for women in abusive situations, particularly with them being in something like that can make you really lose sight of yourself. And it comes with a lot of shame and it comes with a lot of guilt, a lot of judgment. People are always like, why did you stay? How did you let this happen? Why didn't you leave? And things like that. But every chance is an opportunity to start over. And no matter what it is that's happening to you, you're just defined by how it is that you handle it, So you're bigger than anything that's happening to you, you know, because I went 3 years feeling pretty powerless in that relationship and kind of lost and am now weirdly really thankful for it on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's actually...
Because it'll never happen to you again.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me in a really bizarre... twisted way, but at the time I felt like my circumstances were owning me. This person was taking over my life, and I was like, I don't even know who I am or what to do anymore. And I actually, the meaning of this tattoo is when I was in recovery for it, it was always reminding you that like, you are greater than.
Okay, greater than.
And forward, you are greater than, you are bigger than, and you are bigger than your circumstances. So kind of helps you put anything in perspective that you're going through. Like, you're like, this is the circumstance, but this is me.
Absolutely.
And you're always 10 times bigger. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn, that was awesome.
And you said you went to like counseling for this also?
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another piece of advice. Don't be afraid to fix yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. And hurt people.
Right.
And the differences in what you do with your pain and if you can turn it into a positive. So, yeah, lots of therapy, lots of treatment, lots of support groups, lots of taking vows of celibacy, time off from dating.
Right.
I still do that sometimes if I feel like I'm falling back into old patterns, or I still deal with triggers.
Right.
We could do a whole show on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally I get in bad emotional situations and I'm like cold sweats and stuff and I'm like, whoa, we need to take a second, So, did big time because I just made sure I didn't want to become him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know, and it's great to let women know out there too. Like, you're not by yourself. A lot of people go into, even successful people like yourself, like you are now. They think, oh no, she never went through that. Yeah, you had to go through that to get to where you're at today. So there is help out there.
Yeah,
and it's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late.
No, and you can turn it around at any given side. And you're also not defined by how people treat you. How people treat you is a reflection of themselves. Right. Period.
No, like you said, hurt people. Yeah, that's
hurt people hurt people.
Yeah,
yep.
Great way of putting it. Well, on a positive note, what is your next show? Is it the beach one?
That's the big one.
That's the
big one. I mean, I perform just about every night in Miami.
Yeah,
so
where are they doing comedy like that?
So they have Miami Comedy is probably like one of the main umbrellas.
Okay.
And there's a lot of rooms in they have rooms at Red Bar, Casa Tiki, Focal Brewery.
Oh, Casa Tiki, we went to one, yeah.
Yeah, all over. Okay. I'm at Villain a lot. I'm at Villain this Friday. But the big one is probably the beach.
Okay.
And then I'm doing something with Have Nots Comedy in October that we're about to announce, and that's a show about sex and dating specifically.
Oh shit!
And it's interactive.
What? Like 3D with some goggles?
Yeah. No, people are going to be fucking on stage. It's going to be great.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don't miss it.
This is where that downward dog position comes in here.
Exactly.
That's why she's doing hot yoga. She's warming up
I was prepping. Right. Must be 18 or over to enter. Yeah. No, it's going to be.
Shit, we got purple velvet right around
real
the corner.
talk, that's sex after 30. I'm like, I got to stretch. Hang on. I'm like, I need
hold on, my back hurts.
Like I used to be like early 20s. I was like hanging off a chandelier. Like, let's go. Now at 30, I'm like, you do the work. I'm like, that's it.
Hurry up back there.
You're fun size too, so there's a lot of creativity that can happen.
My whole life, but I date out of shape motherfuckers, and they try to do it, and they're like, I need a minute. And I'm like, all right, yeah.
God, man. Where'd you spend COVID? Down here or up in New York?
Down here for the most part.
Okay, so that was actually good because New York was a lot more strict.
Terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Matt, I saw what's it called, Manhattan, where where everything goes down. You got hundreds of thousands of tourists and it was empty. It was just crazy.
That's why I left. It was like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Like I literally saw like chairs being boarded up. People were scared to even walk next to each other on the sidewalk, fighting over toilet paper and stuff. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna take a flight to Miami.
They're going to Kiki on the river right now.
Yeah, right.
I was like, everything's open. I'm gonna go to the wharf.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta wear a mask in line. Once you get in, you can take it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so retarded.
So much of it is such a formality.
Right.
It's
Look,
we went to on Monday. Thanks to Ash, thanks to Uly, we went to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I finally got to see Dana perform. She killed it. Shout out to D.
Yeah.
We love you, girl.
My girl wrestles.
Hell yeah.
That's
she's
so
a pro
badass.
wrestler.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And in there, they got us courtside. You know what I'm saying? They got us courtside.
Yeah, we bring shot. You know how
we bring shot. You know what I'm saying? We out there showing the booty. You know? They're like, who's those guys? Like, yeah, it's the Monster Crew.
No pictures, please. No pictures, please.
And the security guy, oh my God, every single second, like, yeah, put your mask on. Put your mask on. I'm like, yo, my man.
Yeah.
No, and what's funny is they tell you like this: so you got your mask, right? Let's say, for example, here's the security guy. Hey, you got to put your mask on.
Right.
Come on, guy.
Oh man, I I was at, I'm not going to say what bar on the beach, but it was in like June of last year. Things were kind of starting to open up, and they had outdoor seating, and the tables were a little bit distanced, but not a lot.
Right.
And they were yelling at you for like distancing while waiting in line, having your mask on, even though it was outdoors. But there was hookah at this bar, and people were like,
just blowing it.
and I was like, are you kidding me right now? Or like New York was like, hey, this side is for masked people, this side isn't. Or
Right.
we're closing restaurants at 9. I'm like, Chris, COVID isn't real before 9 p.m.
Right. The boogeyman after 9 COVID comes out, go home. Man.
Right.
No,
COVID
and like
has-
that, and like them shitty ass masks are gonna help anything in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
man.
Yeah, right. Like I was saying that too. Like I feel like I got down to Miami and everybody had these like bougie ass Louis Vuitton masks.
Hey.
Like if I could smell your fart through the mask, I could get COVID.
Right. You're not protected. Yeah. I had like masks that I stole from my dentist in Queens, right? I literally remember walking around and being like, I should get masks, right? And I knocked on the window and she was like, what do you want? And I was like, you got masks? She was like, here you go. And threw me a vase. I was like, all right.
I remember when it went. Yo, I remember back. Mike, what was that? That was like, was it like, I don't know, maybe like 2 months before anything ever happened.
Yeah.
And then Mike was like, look, we should go get some masks. I'm like, what? Yeah, you should go get some masks. Let's go to Home Depot. We went to Home Depot. Like, he went Home Depot on his end. I
Yeah.
went to some Home Depots on mine, and they were already out.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. Like,
Yeah,
it,
the 99-cent mask went to like $5
In the
overnight.
beginning,
Yeah.
like, it was a little, it had its little, you know what I'm saying? In the beginning, we had a little, we had a little vibe.
Yeah, New York got like, I mean, people were screaming at each other in like the Key Food by my apartment and stuff. And I was like, y'all gotta, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, me and my girl were at the airport the other day, and we had one of those mask Avengers come up to us, like, "Oh, can you put your mask on?" We're like, "Guy, yeah, give us a second." Like, I got my mask in my hand. He goes and tells TSA got to come over. Like, "Yo, dog, I hate to tell you, can you put your
You're like,
mask
give
on?"
me a second.
Like, homeboy, like, for real?
Yeah. Well, this pandemic has made everybody
Karen's all over the place.
all over the place.
Even
Yeah.
guys are Karens, you know.
100%. Everyone's a doctor. There was that
Yes.
period of time where
Yes.
there were Twitter and Facebook battles, and people were like, "Actually, no, you can't catch it if you play lacrosse. Only if you play baseball.
Right,
or
right.
no, you can
Yeah.
catch it in cafes, but not bars. You should wear your." And I was like, "None of you went to medical school. Like, what are you talking about?"
Right.
Yeah.
Like, dog, I saw you fucking doing cocaine last weekend at the bar. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, like those same people that were like, "We need to be careful." I'm like, I know who you've had sex with. So.
Yeah, exactly. I see you take fat girls from the bar.
Right. Now you're being careful.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I had unprotected sex in college, so I'm good with this pandemic.
You told me you ate a prostitute's butt, bro.
Yeah. I tell this story of like one time years ago in New York, I was drunk and my slice of pizza fell in Times Square.
Just take the cheese off. I love it. Eat the rest.
Not
Let's
even.
go.
I was like, yo.
That's how you prevent COVID, is eating that shit off the floor.
I'm like,
You get
everyone's
immune
like, I
mad
can't believe
quick.
you haven't gotten it going back and forth. First off, I had it like a year ago in New York.
Yeah.
But also, they're like, you haven't gotten it with all the travel? I'm like, I'm not going to lie. 3 years ago in New York, I ate a slice of pizza off of like the subway floor. And I'll
it was
never be the
vaccines.
same.
Right there, it was vaccines.
I was like, polio can come back and I'll be good.
Yeah, for real. Black plague. I beat it with a slice
I
of
beat it
dirty
already.
pizza.
Yeah.
From the New
I
York
ate dirty
subway.
water dogs. Brittany, man, hey, you're amazing, man.
Yes.
I wish you
Thank
nothing but
you.
success. You're so great. You know, we've met. This is the first time we meet, and I feel like I know you forever. We know bouncing
Yeah,
off
hell
each
yeah.
other.
Same,
here.
dude. Same.
It's the energy, bro. It's the energy, bro. It's the
absolutely.
vibes.
It's the cards on the table.
Hey, baby, what's your sign? Yeah.
For sure. Hey, if you wanna catch Brittany, we're gonna be at her show at the Lincoln show. That's September 22nd.
22nd. It's a Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. It is completely free at the Lincoln Eatery, so you can have dinner, a drink. There's an after party with the DJ, and it's an incredible lineup. It's incredible.
Born and raised in Miami, so if it's free, it's me, baby.
That's it. But I'm also like, you guys better show up because every time it's free, people are like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, no.
Listen, the Monster tonight.
we
Don't
going
Blink
in.
is gonna be in the building. We're gonna be there to support you 100%.
Hell yeah.
And I hope you don't mind. I might heckle a time or two.
Sit front row, baby.
You know
Sit
what?
front row.
We'll go through it backstage, so you know what to tell me. You know what I mean?
I've been a year in Miami doing comedy. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck you.
Hey, I'm Italian from New York. That's my love language.
Exactly.
I'll be like, hey, no, fuck you. Hey.
No, fuck you too.
Dang.
No, Miami, you say, hey, come pinga. Oh, hey, Britt, man, you've been amazing, man. Nothing but success to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your positive message to our people listening out there that might be going through some, because we never know when somebody's going through something. Because I'm sure you're like us. Excuse me. You might be going through, but you put a smile on. You do what you got to do.
For sure.
So for those people, you heard it here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
nothing but success. We appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you, guys.
And I can't wait to see you September 22nd. Laugh my ass off at the beach.
Hell
We're
yeah.
gonna party.
Hey, she's gonna kill it.
Thank you.
You already know. Don't blink.
Another episode of Don't Blink Podcast. Me, the kid, Brittany Brave. Laugh your motherfucking ass off September 22nd. Lincoln will be there. Be there or be square, motherfuckers. Boom.
You ain't gonna punch it?
Bow!
I think me and Two Nights got something great going on. We got some great guests coming up. It's gonna be dope. We got some dope people that already signed up to do it with us, which is great. A lot of people show us love, and it's because we love them back for sure.